tonight with two other stories out of New York City that provide a very disturbing glimpse into the radical elements that represent the new modern extreme radical Democratic Party. As we speak, some on the left, they are now literally cheering for the cold-blooded killer accused of murdering UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now, this guy was a husband and a father. At the very same time, they are vilifying Daniel Penny, who was just found not guilty of negligent homicide by a New York City jury. Well, prosecutors, they attempted to throw Penny in prison after he restrained what was a deranged career criminal who was high on drugs, making death threats, lunging at passengers on a New York City subway. In a minute, we're going to bring you exclusive new clips from Judge Piro's interview with Penny, which will air in full on Fox Nation tomorrow. But first, let us focus on the left's new folk hero, Luigi Mangione. Okay, that's the 26-year-old from Townsend, Maryland. Seemingly, this guy had it all. Born into a wealthy Maryland family, he was a prep school valedictorian. He went on to earn not one but 2 degrees from the University of Pennsylvania. He's now accused of murdering UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, allegedly shooting the father of 2 in the back just before a 7 a.m. morning in Midtown Manhattan. How did that happen? Now, some who feel wronged by the health insurance industry and others on the left that want to, quote, eat the rich, they are actually out there celebrating this assassination, this murder, glorifying the purported killer. People are actually buying T-shirts and merchandise promoting the murder. And the McDonald's where Mangione was arrested after a tip from somebody working there is receiving death threats and scores of 1-star reviews on Google. The rhetoric on the left, it is totally unhinged, unglued. You decide.
Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy.
Something a bit unexpected has happened following the murder. A reaction not of universal horror, that a 50-year-old father of 2 and husband was shot dead in public, but rather of, and I don't want to call it glee, but let's just say not unhappiness.
I was looking at some of the social media comments, and I try to stay away from social media, but it said some of the comments were thoughts and deductibles to the family. One of the comments was, unfortunately, my condolences are out of network. And so I think it really, isn't that something? I really think it's reflective about how people are feeling about their health care.
Okay, no doubt there are Americans that have very legitimate and serious concerns about the healthcare industry in our country, which frankly has become even more expensive and complex with fewer options after Obamacare. But that's separate and apart. Cheering for the murder of an unarmed man is beyond sick. And unlike Mangione, UnitedHealthcare CEO, he did not grow up in a world of privilege. Brian Thompson, he's from a small town. He's from Iowa. His father worked a grain elevator. He attended public school, the University of Iowa. After college, he worked his way up the corporate ladder. Brian Thompson was a father of 2, an avid supporter of the Special Olympics. Now, maybe you have an issue with your health insurance or your car insurance or your home insurance. Fine. You can hate a company. You can hate the entire insurance industry. But murder, assassination, vigilantism, it's wrong, it's evil, it's despicable. And Luigi Mangione is no hero. And according to reports, his behavior apparently became very erratic over the last 6 months. And today, his theatrics, again, on full display. Take a look.
As completely out of touch, as an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
So this is the left wing in America, the new hero, a seemingly deranged Ivy League grad accused of shooting an unarmed father of 2 in the back. And meanwhile, Daniel Penny, he is treated like a monster by many on the left. In fact, New York's woke prosecutors, they tried to ruin his life. He was a hero in real life. After the former Marine He was only trying to protect his fellow passengers riding on the New York City subway underground from a violent individual, his name Jordan Neely, who had an open warrant for his arrest, a history of gruesome subway assaults, including 2 elderly people, 1 a woman. At the time of the incident, Neely was high on drugs and lunging at passengers while threatening to kill those around him and himself. Take a look.
He just very aggressively kind of like ran on and stumbled on. And that's, you know, as New Yorkers, you kind of come to accept that is unfortunately a normal occurrence. No.
And what was he saying? What was he doing? What drew your attention to him?
Well, you know, I noticed him at first when he came on, you know, and the doors closed. And as soon as the doors closed, he was carrying a jacket, and he whipped the jacket down, and it landed on the feet. I was standing, it landed on the feet of the passenger sitting down next to me. And the zipper made a very audible noise. It was very loud and very aggressive, at that point, the train car went completely silent. It almost felt it felt like a vacuum. And there was like this hollow feeling. And that's when I first kind of gave him my full attention.
Okay, so the train becomes silent. What, if anything, does he say?
You know, he first comes on and he starts demanding things. He's demanded 3 different things, you know. He's certain types of food, certain types of drinks, and, you know, things that, like some type of fast food. And that he was willing to go to jail forever if he didn't get these things. And then it kind of escalated. He was saying, you repeated, I was going to go to jail for life. I'm willing to hurt people. I'm willing to kill people. I'm going to kill people. And keep in mind, this is all within 15 seconds of him getting on the train. And it was this escalation of violence and threatening behavior that it was pretty serious.
When he said he was willing to kill people, did you believe him?
Yeah, totally. It was unlike, you know, because there's outbursts on the train all the time. Unfortunately, in New York City, there's always people coming on and saying, kind of talking crazy, and this was unlike anything that I've ever experienced, and it was very serious. I completely believed what he was saying. It was just.
What was the reaction by the fellow subway riders?
Well, like I said, when there was that silence, when there was that vacuum, I mean, everybody he got everybody's attention.
How close was he to the people as he was telling them or saying, I'm going to kill someone?
He started off in the middle of the train by the pole, and then he would, in that escalation, he started to get in people's faces within a foot of people. What was
there? There was a woman with a baby in a carriage. What did she do?
Women, children, kids going to school, coming back from school. It was just like it was what you'd expect on a normal New York City subway train or subway car. It was the mother was holding her child, and the school kids were protecting themselves. They were holding each other, and people were stuck to their chairs, and they felt pinned, and I felt pinned. I felt nervous. I felt scared.
Now, thankfully, this week, Penny was acquitted of criminally negligent homicide, and rightfully so. But the ladies at that hard-hitting news show, The View, they're not happy about the verdict, even though we had witness after witness after witness, and those that tried to make this issue about race, including an African-American woman that was on the train that actually said thank you to Daniel Penny, saying that they felt their life was in jeopardy. Maybe they didn't hear or read about that testimony. Take a look.
Penny's defense was that he was de-escalating the situation after Neely threatened other commuters, and he celebrated the verdict with his lawyer while Neely's family was mourning the loss. I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you just You take the celebration home. You don't do it outside. But that's just me. Don't listen to anything I say.
You know, I do wonder, does ABC send limousines and SUVs for the ladies of the View, or do they take the subway? Do they ever take the subway? Daniel Penny stepped up to prevent his fellow subway riders from being harmed by a guy making death threats, acting erratically. He shielded every single person on that subway car from harm, black, white, men, women, everyone. But the group Black Lives Matter doesn't care about any of that. They are now calling for vigilantism and vengeance against white people. Take a look.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. Goddamn them and goddamn America.
Wow. So many on the left, this is not about truth. It is not about justice or even life. For them, it is one political game. Take a look.
These public officials would do something so self-serving.
But how does it serve them to hurt you?
Just political gain. I mean, these are their policies that are, and I don't mean to get political. I don't really want to make any enemies, really, although I guess I have already. But I mean, these are their policies that have clearly not worked, that the people, the general population, are not in support of, yet their egos are too big just to admit that they're wrong.
Again, the full interview will air tomorrow on FoxNation.com. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.